District Rotaract representative from District 3800. I call this 2021 Gawad Parangal to order.
Patatawarin ang sala nyo sa tuwin ay diringgin ko, hihilumin ang bayan nyo. Panginoon, hilumin mong bayan ko, aming samo magbalik ang bayan ito sa iyo. Panginoon, tingin at hilumin mong bayan ko, patawarin mo't hilumin ang bayan ko. Kami po ngayon ay sumasamo, dalangin ang aming puso. Sa pangalan mo, naniniklukod at tatalikdan ang diwasto. Aming Diyos, sa iyong awa, patawarin sa aming sala.
I am Liza de Guzman and I am a proud Rotaractor.
I'm Arvin Mariposque and I'm proud to be a Rotaractor.
I am Sinaima Esmael and I am a proud Rotaractor.
I'm Jonathan de Guzman and I'm a proud Rotaractor.
I am Dayanara Colongan and I'm a proud Rotaractor.
Is it the truth?
It is fair to all concerned.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
What is Rotary? Rotary is a voluntary, non-profit, non-governmental, and non-religious organization of industry, professionals, and academics who work in intertwined autonomous networks and provide self-education, exchange of knowledge, and humanitarian aid.
Is it the truth? Truth has always been at the center of every Rotary Club's initiatives. Rotarians continue to reach out and embrace communities, as well as serve with utmost truthfulness and humility.
It is fair to all concerned. Every club continues to act with consistency, allowing them to maintain credibility and continuity. As every Rotarian has such kind of mindset, the Rotary continues to enjoy the status of being one of the most credible, committed, and reliable NGO in the world.
Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Through various projects that highlights the importance of camaraderie and teamwork, Rotary clubs around the world had been able to build bridges of friendship no matter the distance. This has enabled Rotarians to generate tremendous goodwill across different communities by rolling out matching grant projects.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Rotarians shall never think twice about looking beyond themselves and encouraging others to always be of service above self. Through this, clubs get to experience fulfillment as they help others through relevant and impactful projects.
Rotary clubs around the world have been able to contribute to literacy, clean water and sanitation, maternal and child care, promoting peace, economic and community development, disease and prevention treatment, and environmental support. With all the different projects initiated, the number of beneficiaries has also multiplied. As Rotaractors, we are the future leaders as we continue to live our lives
Not just for ourselves, but also for others.
We shall imbibe and put into practice
The Rotary's four guiding principles.
even as we grow old.
Fellowship through service.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Nais kong batiin ang mga panuunin na kasama natin ngayon. Transforming District Governor Anthony Toniti Parangal at spouse Lana. The District Governors Council. Youth Service Committee Advisory of Council led by District Rotaract Chairman Boji Bernardino. District Youth Service Chairman Herman King. District Interact Chairman James Pahati. District Youth Service Committee Vice Chairman Anthony C. District Youth Service Committee Secretary P.P. Sheila Borja. District Rotary Youth Leaders Awards Chairman Ofelia Bello. Filipinas NDIO Chairman Louis Boy de Real. Filipinas NDIO Officers. The PDLR's Council. Transforming District Rotaract Representative Aleli Ali Francisco. Transforming District Officers. Transforming Presidents from Zone 1. Transforming Presidents from Zone 2. Transforming Presidents from Zone 3. Transforming Presidents from Zone 4. Transforming Presidents from Zone 5. Transforming Presidents from Zone 6. Transforming Presidents from Zone 7. And Transforming Presidents from Zone 8. Rotarians, Rotaractors, Interactors of District 3800 and other districts. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat.
Sa lahat ng nakasubaybay ngayon sa Facebook, YouTube, Rotarians at Rotaractors, lalong-lalo na sa Rotaractors ng RI District 3800, magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Bilang inyong Deputy District Secretary para sa Rotary Year 2020 to 2021, aking lubos na ikinagagalak na makasama kayong lahat para sa isang gabi ng galak at pagpaparangal. Ang ating Gawad Parangal ngayong araw ay para gunitain ang lahat ng Rotaract clubs ng ating distrito at bigyang papuri ang iba't ibang proyekto, inisyatiba at Rotaractors na kapupulutan natin ng inspirasyon para sa kanilang mga bukod-tanging mga katangian. Ngayon pa lang, hands down para sa inyong lahat na nagpamalas ng tibay ng loob at galing sa kani-kaniyang Rotaract clubs sa kabila ng iba't ibang hamon na ating kinaharap at patuloy na kinahaharap. Malaking pasasalamat din sa inyong mga sponsoring Rotary clubs na handang gumabay at sumuporta sa mga Rotaract clubs sa kahit anong pamamaraang posible. Tunay ngang ang taon ng Rotary Opens Opportunities ay walang katulad. Kaya naman, ngayong gabi, lahat ng Rotaractors ng ating distrito ay karapat-dapat bigyan ng isang tapik sa balikat at papuri for a job well done para sa pag-ariba sa isang distritong masaya.
Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 1. Baby MJ L. Haranilia, Rotaract Club of Navotas, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Jewel Nathan M. Zosimo, Rotaract Club of Malabon Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Central. Jeffrey Loy Stala, Rotaract Club of Malabon, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon. Merliza N. Santos, Rotaract Club of Malabon East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon East. Danica Barotel, Rotaract Club of Navotas Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Ivy Jean S. Berha, Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands. Patricia Ann S. Shoko, Rotaract Club of North Bay East, sponsored by Rotary Club of North Bay East. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 2. Carlot D. Aliter, Rotaract Club of Metro Novaliches, Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Novaliches, Caloocan. Kimberly R. Guchuico, Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Jessica O. Altabano, Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Luella May V. Obra, Rotaract Club of Millennial Sampaguita Grace Park, Sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Nico Christopher Vasquez, Rotaract Club of University of the East Caloocan. Sponsored by the Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Charlene M. Pereras, Rotaract Club of Grace Park. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Grace Park. Mary Joy F. Caranay, Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 3. Dory Jane Orgo-Hiting, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Jude Elgin C. Torres, Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Valenzuela. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Norvin C. Ferrer, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela West. Maria Teresa C. Calisnao, Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Edsel Joy F. Asherda, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela City Polytechnic College. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 4. Isaiah Mikhail L. Telarca, Rotaract Club of Marikina Central. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Central. Hannah Francis Ann L. Renante, Rotaract Club of Rodriguez. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Rodriguez. Jobel D. Alves, Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. John Eugene Ross A. Del Rosario, Rotaract Club of Marikina West. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina West. Neil Angelo Rodriguez, Rotaract Club of Tumana Youth Sector. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Marikina. Gabriel T. Banzon, Rotaract Club of Marikina East. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina East. Maria Aurea P. Bartolome, Rotaract Club of Marikina Hilltop. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Hilltop. Mercy Cabria, Rotaract Club of Marikina Heights. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Heights. Isaiah AFC Igliane, Rotaract Club of Marikina. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina. Sophia Regine J. Asidao, Rotaract Club of Marikina North. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina North. Christian Ray B. Ruiz, Rotaract Club of Marikina Young Leaders. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina. Jerome Nicolas D. Abelia, Rotaract Club of Passport 1 Marikina. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Passport 1 Marikina. Juan Carlos B. Milagrito, Rotaract Club of Greater Marikina Valley San Mateo Municipal College. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Greater Marikina Valley. Daniel Joan D. Serapion, Rotaract Club of San Mateo Central. Sponsored by Rotary Club of San Mateo Central.
Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 5. Mark Christopher R. Sulaiman, Rotaract Club of Rizal Central. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Central. Jezreel Denise R. Bismonte, Rotary Club of Angono. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Angono. Aracel Nicole D. Vihar, Rotary Club of Tomas Claudio Colleges. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore, Rizal. Rickson A. Liana, Rotary Club of Taytay. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Taytay. Diane Claudine A. Calingo, Rotary Club of Lakeshore, Rizal. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore, Rizal. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore, Rizal. Francis V. Garovillas, Rotary Club of East System Colleges of Rizal. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Teresa. Carl Adam B. Estacio, Rotary Club of Cardona. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. Joed E. Macaraeg, Rotary Club of Metro East Taytay. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro East Taytay. Paul John Ray A. Gagarin, Rotary Club of URS Binangonan. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Binangonan. Lucky Ferry C. Albacin, Rotary Club of URS Cainta. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Cainta. Marian L. Lumod, Rotary Club of URS Taytay. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Taytay. Rica May B. Perater, Rotary Club of Metro Antipolo. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Antipolo. RCM Baniel, Rotary Club of Rizal Mid-East. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Mid-East. Abigail F. Yeke, Rotary Club of Morong SIC. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Morong. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 6. Rica M. Ardales, Rotary Club of Barangay Palatio Scholars. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Matthew Lawrence Hadrian A. Tan, Rotary Club of Pasig Sunrise. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig Sunrise. Kathleen G. Mendoza, Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High. Sponsored by Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High. Jose Jeffrey G. Sanchez, Rotary Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig. Ralph Reynard P. Peñaflor, Rotary Club of Pasig Premier. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig Premier. John Marby Antom, Rotary Club of International Christian College of Manila. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig North. Wendell Garcia, Rotary Club of Pasig Hope. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig East. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 7. Elizabeth Angelica C. Villanueva, Rotary Club of PSBA Volunteers. Sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Monique Rayleigh Tizon, Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte Premier. Sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte. Altea Reca P. Fidelis, Rotary Club of San Juan East. Sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. John Roy B. Tan, Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education. Sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Via Kathleen V. Huic, Rotaract Club of Green Hills. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Green Hills. Charlie Page Ade, Rotaract Club of E-Club of San Juan. Sponsored by Rotary Club of E-Club San Juan. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 8. Joyce A. Banga, Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong West. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West. Jean Andrew B. Balquedra, Rotaract Club of Wakwak. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Wakwak. Hannah May R. Racho, Rotaract Club of Rizal Technological University. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Senaima Hussein Esmael, Rotaract Club of Greater Mandaluyong. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Greater Mandaluyong. Joylene M. Andesa, Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong Premier. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Premier. Roslyn M. De Guia, Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Angel Wendy Bares, Rotaract Club of Highville Hills Integrated School. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Wakwak. Anika Beltran, Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong North. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong North. John Michael S. Refarial, Rotaract Club of New Saniga. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Central. Ellie Joyce M. Sailog, Rotaract Club of Barangka. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Manpasan. Daniel Darius R. Regino, Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong Uptown. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Uptown.
Tony Jean R. Roque, Chairperson for End Polio Programs and Projects. Paul John D.G. Andres, Chairperson for Service Projects. Adridge Don Espolino, Chairperson for Branding and Graphic Designer. Julie Ann M. Moniva, Chairperson for District Events. J. A. Ranile, Chairperson for Social Media and Public Image. Julie Ann Valenzuela Ocan, Chairperson for International Affairs.
Madel G. Laberon, ADR R. Zone 1. Navotas N. Malabon. Bernadette B. Amto, ADR R. Zone 2. Caloocan. Locke G. Bactol, ADR Zone 3, Valenzuela. Joshua Bram D. Alves, ADR Zone 4, Marikina. Chris and Nicole P. Melos, ADR Zone 5, Rizal. Carla Jane P. Sister, ADR Zone 6, Pasig. Mark Christian C. Dakles, ADR Zone 7, San Juan. Juvie L. Penaso, ADRR Zone 8, Mandaluyong.
Alvin Renan Kamat, TRAR of Cluster 1, Caloocan, Malabon, Navotas, and Valenzuela. Larry Pahayahay Martin Jr., DRAR of Cluster 2, Marikina and Rizal. Roldan Bonus, DRAR of Cluster 3, Pasig, San Juan, and Mandaluyong.
Bernadette O. Lusaura, District Treasurer. Aurel Paul T. Rodriguez, District Secretary, Internal. Jamie G. Dionisio, District Secretary, External. Trisha Claire S. Sapiter, Deputy District Secretary.
Aleli Ali E. Francisco, District Rotaract Representative. Boji Bernardino, District Rotaract Chairman. Herman King, District Youth Service Chairman. Anthony Tony P. Parungal, District Governor.
Arriba District 3800, sa pagpasok ng buwan ng Hulyo, ating sinimulan ang isang makabagong sistema ng pagtitipon, ang ating Virtual District Assembly at Handover Ceremonies, na ating ginamit ang teknolohiya at social media account. Ito ay isang paraan ng pagpapakita na hindi naging hadlang ang pandemya dahil ang Rotaract District 3800 ay nakapagsagawa ng matagumpay na Virtual District Assembly 2020. Para sa unang kasaysayan ng taon sa ilalim ng New Normal. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of Marikina West, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina West.
Ang ating first leaders meeting ay hinost ng 3 Rotaract clubs mula sa Zone 4 Marikina noong August 30, 2020 via Zoom. Ito ay may temang Engaging Rotaract Clubs Virtually, kung saan tinuruan ang ating mga transformed presidents at secretaries kasama ang kanilang mga new gen chair ng kanilang sponsoring Rotary clubs. Ang mga speakers ay sina Rotarian Joel Delgado mula sa Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West at past District Rotaract Representative Clark Abmerga mula sa Rotaract Club of Tayabas Central. Tinalakay nila ang iba't ibang techniques at tools upang mas ma-engage ang ating Rotaractors sa virtual setting. At isang crash course sa My Rotary account na tiyak nakatulong sa pagsisimula ng ating Rotaract clubs sa new normal setting. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of Marikina, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina. Rotaract Club of Marikina Central, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina Central. And Rotaract Club of Marikina East, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina East.
Matagumpay na nailatag sa mga Rotaractors ng ating distrito ang second leaders meeting na ginanap noong ika-30 ng Setyembre taong 2020. Tampok ang mga kaalaman patungkol sa Rotary and Rotaract protocols and decorum. Ito ay pinangunahan ng Rotaract clubs ng Zone 3 Valenzuela. Ang inanyayahang tagapagsalita na si MDIO Chair-elect MJ Franco ay nagbigay ng mga impormasyong makakatulong upang maging mas produktibo at progresibo ang bawat Rotaract clubs ng District 3800. Nais kong maiparating sa mga Rotaractors ng Zone 3 ang aking walang hanggang pasasalamat sa inyong ipinakitang galing at husay. Lubos ko ring pinahalagahan ang mga sakripisyo at oras na inyong ibinuhos, hindi lamang sa second leaders meeting kundi maging hanggang matapos ang transforming year. Kaya naman, pagbati para sa lahat. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. And Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela West.
Ang ating third leaders meeting ay pinangunahan ng mga Rotaract Club mula sa Zone 7, San Juan. Noong November 29, 2020 via Zoom. Ito ay may temang The Rotary Foundation na pinangunahan ng ating chair for the Rotary Foundation of Rotary Club San Juan, Past President Gina Sanchez. Natutunan ng mga Rotaractors kung paano makakatulong ang kanilang mga donasyon sa ating komunidad. Nagbigay din ng papremyo ang host club sa mga piling Rotaract clubs para sa kanilang paunang donasyon. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of Green Hills, sponsored by Rotary Club of Green Hills. Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Rotaract Club of San Juan del Monte Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte. At Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East.
Sa pagsisimula ng taong 2021, ginanap ang isa sa mga district event ng ating distrito, ang 4th Leaders Meeting na may temang Self-Care for Leaders Amidst Pandemic, sa pangunguna ng Rotaract Clubs of Zone 8 Mandaluyong. Dito tinalakay ang mga hamon na hinarap ng bawat Rotaractors at kung paano dapat alagaan ang ating mga sarili sa gitna ng pandemya. Halos 80 panauhin ang dumalo at nakibahagi sa atin kung saan ang bawat isa ay nagsaya, naglaro, nagkumustahan at natuto. Kaya naman, great job sa buong Zone 8 Mandaluyong at sa buong distrito ng District 3800. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong West, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West. Rotaract Club of Wakwak, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Wakwak. Rotaract Club of Rizal Technological University, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Greater Mandaluyong, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Greater Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Highway Hills Integrated School, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Wakwak. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong North, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong North. Rotaract Club of New Zaniga, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Central, and Rotaract Club of Barangka, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong, Pasig at San Juan, Manpasan.
Noong buwan ng Pebrero naman, ginanap ang 5th Leaders Meeting ng ating distrito. Ito ay mahusay na pinaghandaan at pinagplanuhan ng mga Rotaract Clubs sa Zone 2, Caloocan. Sa natapos na webinar, 2 gagaling na tagapagsalita mula sa Commission on Human Rights at Dangerous Drugs Board ang nagbahagi ng mahalaga at kapaki-pakinabang na impormasyon mula sa kani-kanilang ahensya na tiyak na sasang-ayunan ng mga Rotaractors sa dumalo sa pagpupulong na ito. Isang karangalan ang maging Assistant District Rotaract Representative ng Zone 2 Caloocan. Nasaksihan ko mismo ang ipinamalas ninyong galing, husay at talino. Maraming salamat at taus-pusong pagbati mula sa inyo, Transforming Presidents of Zone 2 Caloocan. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Rotaract Club of Grace Park, sponsored by Rotary Club of Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Metro Novaliches Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Novaliches Caloocan. Rotaract Club of Millennial Sampaguita Grace Park, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Nurais Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Nurais Caloocan North. Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. at Rotaract Club of University of the East Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park.
Nagbigay halaga ang selebrasyong ito na dinaluhan pa ng ating nag-iisang Governor Tony P. Parangal, DRC Boji Bernardino, at higit sa lahat ang ating District Rotaract Representative Ali Francisco. Muli, pagbati sa Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro.
Ang District 3800 Virtual Fellowship Night ay ginanap noong March 14, 2021 via Zoom at Facebook Live na pinangunahan ng mga Rotaract Clubs mula sa Zone 6 Pasig. Sa fellowship na ito, nagpasiklab ang mga pambato sa sayawan at kantahan ng bawat zone. Sa pamamagitan ng isang slideshow presentation na ipamalas ng bawat zone ang mga naging proyekto ng kanilang Rotaract Clubs, ngayon Transforming Rotary Year. Nagbigay din ng mensahe ang mga district officers upang pasalamatan ang bawat Rotaractor para sa kanilang patuloy na pagbibigay serbisyo. Ang gabi ay nagtapos sa isang toasting ceremony upang ipagdiwang ang 53rd anniversary ng Rotaract. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of Barangay Paladio Scholars, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Rotaract Club of De La Paz Marcos High, sponsored by Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High. Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig. Rotaract Club of Pasig Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig Premier.
Ang Rotaract District 3800 ay nagsagawa ng taunang mid-year reporting kung saan merong 49 Rotaract Clubs ang nagpasa ng kanilang mid-year reporting. Itong 49 Rotaract Clubs ay kwalipikado para bumoto sa District Rotaract Representative Nominee sa taong 2022 to 2023. Itong mid-year reporting ay inorganisa ng mga Rotaract Clubs ng Zone 4 Marikina. Bilang inyong ADRR ng Zone 4, congratulations Rotaract Club of Marikina North, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina North, Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina Valley, Rotaract Club of Rodriguez, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Rodriguez, and the Rotaract Club of Tumana Youth Sector, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Metro Marikina.
Ang taong ito ay nagatid na malaking pagbabago sa bawat individual na Rotaractors mula sa kanilang simpleng pamumuhay bilang estudyante at bilang profesional, na kung saan malaya at magiliw na naglalaan ng kanilang mga panahon para sa pag-iisip at paggawa ng iba't ibang proyekto para makatulong at maging inspirasyon sa kanilang komunidad. Ngayong panahon ng pandemya, hindi nagpadaig ang mga Rotaract Clubs sa paggawa ng mga buwan ng proyekto na pinamunuan ng kanilang mga presidente. Kaya saludo ako sa Zone 1, Malabon and Navotas, na pinangunahan ang year-end reporting ngayong taon kung saan ang lahat ng Rotaractors ay nagtala ng kanilang mga mahuhusay at matatagumpay na proyekto. Isang malaking pagbati mula sa Rotaract Club of Malabon, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon. Rotaract Club of Malabon Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Central. Rotaract Club of Malabon East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon East. Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands. Rotaract Club of Navotas, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Rotaract Club of Navotas Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. At ang huli at bagong Rotaract Club ay ang Rotaract Club of North Bay East, sponsored by Rotary Club of North Bay East.
Parangal sa top biggest club delegation sa Joint Rotary at Rotaract Club District Conference. March 25 to 27, ating ginanap ang kauna-unahan sa kasaysayan na Rotary Clubs at Rotaract Clubs ng District 3800. Ang Joint Rotary and Rotaract District Conference 2021 ay mayroong 3,275 delegates mula sa iba't ibang Rotary Clubs at Rotaract clubs. Kaya naman, ating parangalan at kilalanin ang mga Rotaract clubs na nagkamit ng mataas na bilang ng mga delegado. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Paguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Marikina East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina East. Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. Rotaract Club of Barangay Palatial Scholars, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. At Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Congratulations, Rotaractors!
Ng Hulyo hanggang Mayo at masusundan pa sa mga susunod na mga buwan. Ang ating distrito ay nagkaroon ng mga bagong parte at kabahagi ng ating pamilya para sa Rotaract District 3800. Ito ay pagpapatunay na sa kabila ng ating kinakaharap na pandemya ay mananatiling matibay ang pundasyon ng ating mga Rotaractors. Kaya naman isang pagpupugay at parangal at pagkilala para sa ating mga bagong parte ng pamilyang Rotaract District 3800. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Marikina North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina North. Rotaract Club of De La Paz Marcos High, sponsored by Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High. Rotaract Club of Metro Antipolo, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Antipolo. Rotaract Club of Rizal Mid East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Mid East. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong North. Rotaract Club of New Zaliga, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Central. Rotaract Club of Morong SIC, sponsored by Rotary Club of Morong. Rotaract Club of North Bay East, sponsored by Rotary Club of North Bay East. Rotaract Club of Barangka, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong, Pasig, San Juan, Manpasat. Rotaract Club of Passport 1 Marikina, sponsored by Rotary Club of Passport 1 Marikina. Rotaract Club of Marikina Young Leaders, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina. Rotaract Club of E-Club San Juan, sponsored by Rotary Club of E-Club of San Juan. Rotaract Club of Pasig Hope, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig East. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong Uptown, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Uptown. Rotaract Club of San Mateo Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Mateo Central. Congratulations sa ating 17th newly chartered Rotaract Clubs. Patunay lamang ito na paparami na ng paparami ang ating mga Rotaract Clubs at Rotaractors sa ating distrito.
Sa ating District Governor Anthony Tony P. Parangal, all the district officers, transforming presidents and Rotarians, to the Youth Service Committee headed by Chairman Herman King, kay DRR Ali Francisco, sa mga District Rotaract Officers, Transforming Presidents, and all Rotaractors. Ladies and gentlemen, isang maganda at makabuluhang araw sa inyong lahat. Parang kailan lang nang magsimula ang Rotary Year 2020-2021 para sa ating mga Rotaractors na hindi malaman kung paano gagampanan ang mga tungkulin na iniatang sa kanila. May takot na lumabas at gawin ang mga responsibilidad. May takot para sa kanilang kaligtasan at kalusugan. Ito ay dahil sa pandemya na magpahanggang sa ngayon ay patuloy na lumalaganap sa ating mundo. Idagdag pa ang maraming kautusan at pagbabawal mula sa ating pamahalaan. Kaya paano nga ba sila kikilos? Subalit ang ating mga Rotaractors ay talaga namang may mga galing at talino upang maisakatuparan ang kanilang mga responsibilidad. May kakayahan at diskarte para gawin ang kanilang mga proyekto. May baon na tapang at determinasyon upang makatawid at maisakatuparan ang kanilang mga layunin. Mga kabataang nahubog sa pagiging Rotaractors na may motto na Fellowship Through Service. At yan ang dahilan upang magwagi at mapagtagumpayan ng ating mga Rotaractors ang kanilang misyon. At ngayon nga, dumating na nga ang araw ng kanilang Gawad Parangal. Mga voluntarismong gawain na hindi naman talaga naghihintay ng anumang kapalit. Subalit, nararapat lang na sila ay bigyang pagpupugay at pagkilala sa kanilang mga nagawa. Congratulations sa ating mga Rotaractors, sa ating mga Rotaract clubs, sa ating mga transforming presidents at sa mga district officers, sa pamumuno ni DRR Ali Francisco. Dahil sa kanilang mga ginawa, ang Rotaract District 3800 ay nagtagumpay sa kanilang pag-aariba para sa isang distritong masaya. Muli, maraming salamat at mabuhay kayong lahat.
Rotary Year, tayong lahat ay hinamon upang mas maging digitally inclined sa pagsasagawa ng ating mga pagpupulong at proyekto gamit ang iba't ibang social media platforms. Lahat tayo ay nag-adapt sa malaking pagbabagong naidulot ng pandemyang patuloy natin kinaharap. Dito, napatunayan natin ang mga katagang service about self at fellowship through service ay buhay na buhay pa rin kahit tayo man ay nasa ating kani-kaniyang bahay. Congratulations sa lahat ng Rotaract Clubs para sa kanilang best Instagram Club page content. Rotaract Club of Marikina Central, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina Central. Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Rotaract Club of Malabon, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Malabon. Rotaract Club of Millennial Sampaguita Grace Park, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by the Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by the Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by the Rotary Club of San Juan East. Rotaract Club of Angono, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Angono. Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Caloocan. Para naman sa ating Rotaract Clubs na may best Facebook Club page content, congratulations! Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands. Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by the Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Caloocan. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Tomas Claudio Colleges, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by the Rotary Club of San Juan East. Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Cardona. Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by the Rotary Club of San Juan. Para naman sa ating Rotaract Clubs na may outstanding Facebook fan page after hitting 1,000 likes, congratulations sa Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Valenzuela, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Malabon, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Malabon. Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Cardona. Rotaract Club of URS Taytay, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Taytay. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong West, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong Premier, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Premier. Rotaract Club of Rizal Technological University, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Congratulations, Rotaractors!
Friendship Clubs at Twin Clubs Partnership. Nagkaroon man ng pandemya ay nasa Gawad na pagtrumpay natin ang pagkakaroon ng Friendship at Twin Clubs Partnership sa mga Rotaract Clubs sa loob at labas ng ating distrito. Outstanding Friendship Clubs Partnership. Rotaract Club of Marikina West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina West. Rotaract Club of Lakeshore Rizal, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Rotaract Club of Malabon Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Central. Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Wakwak, sponsored by Rotary Club of Wakwak. Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. Outstanding Twin Clubs Partnership. Rotaract Club of Marikina Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Central. Rotaract Club of Marikina North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina. Rotaract Club of Angono, sponsored by Rotary Club of Angono. Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West. Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Parangal para sa takbo kontra polio. Ang takbo kontra polio ay isang joint project ng Rotary Clubs at Rotaract Clubs ng District 3800. Ito ay isang virtual fun run na kung saan sabay-sabay nating ginawa upang pagsuporta sa ating advokasya at end polio na. Congratulations, Rotaract Club of Angono, sponsored by Rotary Club of Angono. Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Rotaract Club of De La Paz Marcos High, sponsored by Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High. Rotaract Club of Grace Park, sponsored by Rotary Club of Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Greater Mandaluyong, sponsored by Rotary Club of Greater Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Lake Rizal, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lake Rizal. Rotaract Club of Malabon East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Premier. Rotaract Club of Pakwak, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pakwak. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West. Rotaract Club of Marikina Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Central. Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. Rotaract Club of Marikina West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina West. Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Millennial San Paguita Grace Park, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Paguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Nabotas, sponsored by Rotary Club of Nabotas. Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Rotaract Club of Pasig Sunrise, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig Sunrise. Rotaract Club of Pamantasan na Lungsod ng Pasig, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig. Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. Rotaract Club of Tomas Claudio Caldo, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Rotaract Club of Tumana Youth Sector, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Marikina. Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Paguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of University of the East Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Paguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela City Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela West. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga Rotaractors na nagbigay ng suporta para sa ating takbo kontra polio. Parangal para sa takbo kontra polio.
ipakilala ang ating mga Rotaract clubs na nanguna at naging kabahagi ng The Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation Giving Certificate recipient, congratulations! Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Rotaract Club of Malabon East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon East. Rotaract Club of Marikina West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina West. Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Rotaract Club of San Juan del Monte Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte. Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. The Rotary Foundation Rotaract Giving Club, congratulations Rotaract Club of Angono, sponsored by Rotary Club of Angono. Rotaract Club of Lakeshore Rizal, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Rotaract Club of Malabon, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon. Rotaract Club of Malabon Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Central. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West. Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan, College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan, Neapolitan. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela West. Congratulations! Ating ipagpatuloy ang pagsuporta sa ating advokasya para sa ating The Rotary Foundation.
Governor Tony P. Parangal, DRC Boji Bernardino, DRR Ali Francisco, kapwa kong Rotaryo, mga Rotaractors, mga youth leaders, mga advisors, mga kaibigan at panauhin, magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Lagi kong sinasabi sa aking mga anak na napakabilis ng panahon, lalong-lalo na kapag tayo'y abala sa kay rami-raming gawaing araw-araw. Aking bilin sa kanila, huwag nating sayangin ang araw na wala tayong natutunan. At bagamat mahirap, kinakailangan harapin at tapusin lahat nito. At yan ang mga katangian nakikita ko sa ating mga Rotaractors ngayong transforming year. Nagsimula tayo last July 1, 2020 hanggang ngayon. Ating naranasan ang pandemya, mga nagdaang bagyo na nagdulot ng malaking kalamidad. Itong mga problema ay nagbigay ng magandang oportunidad na tayo ay tumulong, sama-sama at tulong-tulong lahat, mga Rotaractors. Ating nakikita yung kabayanihan ninyong lahat. Kulang yung 1 taon na serbisyo na ginagawa niyong mga Rotaractors. Sa pamumuno ng ating DRC Boji Bernardino at DRR Ali Francisco at sa malaking suporta ng ating Governor Tony P. Parangal, halos lahat ng Rotaract clubs ay active at ilan sa mga Rotaractors ay naging Rotaryo. Isa lang ang aking masasabi. Kayong mga Rotaractors ang tunay na bagong bayani nitong bagong panahon. Masisipag, magagaling, masigasig, mabilis kumilos, walang sawang tumutulong sa ating kapwa. Sa mga nangangailangan, kayo ay ehemplo para sa susunod na mga young leaders. Kaya ngayong araw ng parangal, kami sa Youth Service Committee ay nagagalak at natutuwa na ang daming mga Rotaract clubs ang bibigyan ng parangal at pagkilala. Ito ay isang malaking pasasalamat at nais namin kayong parangalan sa inyong mga mabuting gawain. Sana maging inspirasyon kayo sa susunod na young servant leaders. Ituloy ninyo ang magandang sinimulan. Maraming salamat.
Ating kinaharap, nakita natin ang bawat transforming presidents na nagpakita ng kani-kanilang sipag, tiyaga at paninindigan para sa kanilang sinumpaang tungkulin bilang mga transforming presidents ng Rotary Year 2020-2021, Rotary Opens Opportunities. Tuloy-tuloy ang kanilang pagpapakita ng tunay na ibig sabihin ng fellowship through service, na kung saan kanilang naisapuso ang bawat proyektong isinagawa at napagtagumpayan kasama ang kanilang mga Rotaract clubs. Aking kinararangal na bigyang pagkilala ang lahat ng aking mga transforming presidents na nagpakita ng kani-kanilang sipag, tiyaga, dedikasyon at prinsipyong sinumpaan para sa kanilang tungkulin bilang mga transforming presidents ng bawat Rotaract clubs mula Caloocan, Malabon, Navotas, Valenzuela, Marikina, Rizal, Pasig, San Juan at Mandaluyong.
Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 1. Baby MJ L. Haranilia, Rotaract Club of Navotas, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Jewel Nathan. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 1. Baby MJ L. Haranilia, Rotaract Club of Navotas, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Jewel Nathan M. Zosimo, Rotaract Club of Malabon Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Central. Jeffrey Loy Stala, Rotaract Club of Malabon, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon. Merliza N. Santos, Rotaract Club of Malabon East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon East. Danica Barotel, Rotaract Club of Navotas Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Ivy Jean S. Berha, Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands. Patricia Ann S. Shoko, Rotaract Club of North Bay East, sponsored by Rotary Club of North Bay East. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 2. Carlot D. Aliter, Rotaract Club of Metro Novaliches, Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Novaliches, Caloocan. Kimberly R. Guchuico, Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Jessica O. Altabano, Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Luella May V. Obra, Rotaract Club of Millennial Sampaguita Grace Park, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Nico Christopher Vasquez, Rotaract Club of University of the East Caloocan, sponsored by the Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Sherlene M. Pereiras, Rotaract Club of Grace Park, sponsored by Rotary Club of Grace Park. Mary Joy F. Karanay, Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 3. Dory Jane Orgo Heating, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Jude Elgin C. Torres, Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Norvin C. Ferrer, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela West. Maria Teresa C. Calisnao, Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Edsel Joy F. Asherda, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela City Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 4. Isaiah Mikhail L. Felarica, Rotaract Club of Marikina Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Central. Hannah Francis Ann L. Renante, Rotaract Club of Rodriguez, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rodriguez. Jobel D. Alves, Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. John Eugene Ross A. Del Rosario, Rotaract Club of Marikina West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina West. Neil Angelo Rodriguez, Rotaract Club of Tumana Youth Sector, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Marikina. Gabriel T. Banzon, Rotaract Club of Marikina East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina East. Maria Orea P. Bartolome, Rotaract Club of Marikina Hilltop, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Hilltop. Mercy Cabria, Rotaract Club of Marikina Heights, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Heights. Isaiah AFC Igliane, Rotaract Club of Marikina, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina. Sophia Regine J. Asidao, Rotaract Club of Marikina North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina North. Christian Ray B. Ruiz, Rotaract Club of Marikina Young Leaders, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina. Jerome Nicolas D. Abella, Rotaract Club of Passport 1 Marikina, sponsored by Rotary Club of Passport 1 Marikina. Juan Carlos B. Melegrito, Rotaract Club of Greater Marikina Valley, San Mateo Municipal College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Greater Marikina Valley. Daniel Joan D. Serapion, Rotaract Club of San Mateo Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Mateo Central.
Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 5. Mark Christopher R. Sulaiman, Rotaract Club of Rizal Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Central. Jessel Denise R. Besmonte, Rotary Club of Angono, sponsored by Rotary Club of Angono. Aracel Nicole D. Vihar, Rotary Club of Tomas Claudio Colleges, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Rickson A. Liana, Rotary Club of Taytay, sponsored by Rotary Club of Taytay. Diane Claudine A. Calingo, Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Francis V. Garovillas, Rotary Club of East System Colleges of Rizal, sponsored by Rotary Club of Teresa. Carl Adam B. Estacio, Rotary Club of Cardona, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. Joed E. Macaraeg, Rotary Club of Metro East Taytay, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro East Taytay. Paul John Ray A. Gagarin, Rotary Club of URS Binangonan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Binangonan. Lucky Ferry C. Albacin, Rotary Club of URS Cainta, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cainta. Marian L. Lumod, Rotary Club of URS Taytay, sponsored by Rotary Club of Taytay. Rica May B. Perater, Rotary Club of Metro Antipolo, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Antipolo. RCM Baniel, Rotary Club of Rizal Mid-East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Mid-East. Abigail F. Yeke, Rotary Club of Morong SIC, sponsored by Rotary Club of Morong. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 6. Rica M. Ardales, Rotary Club of Barangay Palatio Scholars, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Matthew Lawrence Hadrian A. Tan, Rotary Club of Pasig Sunrise, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig Sunrise. Kathleen G. Mendoza, Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High, sponsored by Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High. Jose Jeffrey G. Sanchez, Rotary Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig. Ralph Reynard P. Peñaflor, Rotary Club of Pasig Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig Premier. John Marby Anton, Rotary Club of International Christian College of Manila, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig North. Wendell Garcia, Rotaract Club of Pasig Hope. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig East. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 7. Elizabeth Angelica C. Villanueva. Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers. Sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Monique Rayleigh Tizon. Rotaract Club of San Juan del Monte Premier. Sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte. Altea Reca P. Fidelis. Rotaract Club of San Juan East. Sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. John Roy B. Tan. Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education. Sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Via Kathleen V. Huig. Rotaract Club of Green Hills. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Green Hills. Charlie Page Are. Rotaract Club of E-Club of San Juan. Sponsored by Rotary Club of E-Club San Juan. Transforming Presidents mula sa Zone 8. Joyce A. Banga. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong West. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West. Jean Andrew B. Malkedra. Rotaract Club of Wakwak. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Wakwak. Hannah May R. Racho. Rotaract Club of Rizal Technological University. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Senaima Hussein Esmael. Rotaract Club of Greater Mandaluyong. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Greater Mandaluyong. Joylene M. Andesa. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong Premier. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Premier. Roslyn M. De Guia. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Angel Wendy Bares. Rotaract Club of Highwell Hills Integrated School. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Wakwak. Anika Beltran. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong North. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong North. John Michael S. Refarial. Rotaract Club of New Saniga. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Central. Ellie Joyce M. Sailog. Rotaract Club of Barangka. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Manpasan. Daniel Darius R. Regino. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong Uptown. Sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Uptown.
Maria Elaine Y. Empreso from Rotaract Club of Navotas Polytechnic College. Brennan Gonzalez from Rotaract Club of Malabon Central. Kingsley Chua from Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands. Marian Aguirre from Rotaract Club of Malabon Central. Judeline B. Orongan from Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City. Joshua Nico Baldelomar from Rotaract Club of Caloocan. Ethel Joy Abareta from Rotaract Club of Metro Novaliches, Caloocan. Enrico S. Elemento from Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Cyril Tubong Banwa from Rotaract Club of Valenzuela. Ruth Micaela Dizon from Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West. Mary Antoinette B. Abuela from Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Valenzuela. Kimberly S. Ajeta from Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela. Klaus Joseph E. Ortiz from Rotaract Club of Tumana Youth Sector. Nicole Alexis S. Ilagan from Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley. Laisha Andreno Belieza from Rotaract Club of Marikina West. Salmer D. Velasquez Luzina from Rotaract Club of Tumana Youth Sector. Raymond George S. Reyes from Rotaract Club of Marikina West. John Eugene J. Siliona from Rotaract Club of Marikina Central. Mary Ann M. Pinera from Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro. Ram Vincent Vasquez from Rotaract Club of Angono. Jewel M. Karanglan from Rotaract Club of Cardona. Marixen S. Mongado from Rotaract Club of Tomas Claudio Colleges. Reynan Campana from Rotaract Club of Taytay. Maria Ruela Villanueva from Rotaract Club of Barangay Palatio Scholars. Cristo Ray D. Cruz from Rotaract Club of Barangay Palatio Scholars. Kate P. Costillas from Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig. Nicole Kamata from Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers. Carl Angelo Robles from Rotaract Club of San Juan East. Rica Rivera from Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education. Princess Intong from Rotaract Club of San Juan East. Miko B. Tuazon from Rotaract Club of Rizal Technological University. Joanna Tagiam from Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong West. Ravelyn Senko from Rotaract Club of Wakwak. Maria Elaine Y. Empreso from Rotaract Club of Navotas Polytechnic College.
Sinubok man tayo ng pandemyang COVID-19, hinagupit man tayo ng bagyong Rolly at Ulysses, ang ating mga transforming district officers ay kasama natin mula sa simula hanggang sa mga panahon ngayon. Patuloy ang kanilang pagbibigay ng maraming inspirasyon na magtutuloy-tuloy pa sa mga susunod na mga taon. Sa ating mga transforming district officers, District Secretary Internal, Aurel Paul P. Rodriguez. District Secretary External, Jamie G. Junicio. Deputy District Secretary, Tricia Claire F. Sapitero. District Treasurer, Bernadette O. Lusaura. District Rotaract Area Representative from Kamanaba, Alvin Renan Kama. District Rotaract Area Representative from Maris, Larry L.M. Martin Jr. District Rotaract Area Representative from Pasanman, Roldan Z. Bonus. Assistant District Rotaract Representative from Zone 1, Navotas, Malabon, Madel G. Laberon. Assistant District Rotaract Representative from Zone 2, Caloocan, Bernadette B. Amco. Assistant District Rotaract Representative from Zone 3, Valenzuela, Lucky G. Bactol. Assistant District Rotaract Representative from Zone 4, Marikina, Joshua Bram D. Olvis. Assistant District Rotaract Representative from Zone 5, Rizal, Chris Ann Nicole E. Melos. Assistant District Rotaract Representative from Zone 6, Pasig, Carla Jane P. Sister. Assistant District Rotaract Representative from Zone 7, San Juan, Mark Christian C. Dacles. Assistant District Rotaract Representative from Zone 8, Mandaluyong, Juvie L. Penazo. Chairperson for End Polio Programs and Projects, Tony Jean R. Roque. Chairperson for Service Project, Paul Jan Andres. Chairperson for Branding and Graphic Design, Aldridge Don S. Paulino. Chairperson for District Events, Julian M. Monita. Chairperson for Social Media and Public Image, Alj A. Ranile. Chairperson for International Affairs, Julian Valenzuela Ocan. Congratulations sa ating mga magigiting na mga transforming district officers. ating panimula ng taon ng Rotary Year 2020-2021. Isa ang fundraising project sa ating DRR's Challenge. Kaya naman, ang lahat ng mga Rotaract Club sa ating distrito ay nagsagawa ng mga club fundraising upang kanilang ipamalas na sa pamamagitan nito ay makakalikom sila ng mga pondo na susuporta sa kanilang mga proyekto upang ito'y magtuloy-tuloy. Ito rin ay pagpapakita ng isang paninindigan at pagtayo sa sarili nilang mga paa upang hindi palagi ang nakasandal o nakaasa sa ating mga Rotary Clubs. Kaya naman saludo sa lahat ng ating mga Rotaract Clubs. Congratulations! Kayamanan sa Kariman from Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands. Para po sa inyo, from Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Hatagan upang andam kareng kayanakan from Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rota Awit, the Voices of Youth, from Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. Wheel of Change, from Rotaract Club of Rodriguez, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rodriguez. We Care, They Care Project from Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Yan ay ilan lamang sa mga Rotaract Clubs na nagpakita ng malawak na imahinasyon upang marating ang malayong maaabot ng kanilang fundraising na may katumbas ng mga benepisyaryo at nabibigyan ng tulong mula sa kanilang mga naliko. Sa ating ito ay naglalayong ipakita ang pagpapahalaga at suporta sa kahalagahan ng edukasyon. Dahil dito, ating naipaabot sa lahat ng mga napili nating mga daycare at batang pag-asa ng bayan ang kani-kanilang mga learning materials upang habang nasa loob ng tahanan ay patuloy silang natututo at madadagdagan pa ang kanilang kaalaman. Congratulations, Project Help from Rotaract Club of Marikina Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Central. Make a Daycare from Rotaract Club of Marikina North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina North. And Rotaract Club of Wakwak, sponsored by Rotary Club of Wakwak. Project 3 Ps from Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. We Care Daycare Project from Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Learning Never Stops, Adopt a Daycare Project from Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Earliest Milestones from Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Vida Sigla Kids, Balik Eskwela from Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Pasko Lilit from Rotaract Club of Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. And Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Adopt a Daycare Project, Give a Heart for Education from Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Congratulations, Rotaract Clubs!
I-greet ko lang muna ang mga kapwa kong Rotarian na dumalo, na pinangungunahan siyempre nila District Youth Service Chair Past President Herman King at ni District Rotaract Chair Konsehal Past President Boji Bernardino. Sa ating napakasipag at napakatatag na District Rotaract Representative na si Rotarian Ali Francisco, sa mga minamahal kong mga Rotaractors na nandito ngayong gabi, sa lahat ng mga bisita, kamusta na? Isipin nyo, 30 araw na lang ay matatapos na ang pambihirang Rotary Year na ito. Akalain ninyo na hindi lang tayo nakaraos, kundi ay namayagpag pa sa kabila ng napakaraming issue, problema, sakuna at pagdududa. At mantakin ninyo na bagamat ang laki ng hamon na ibinigay sa ating lahat, pandemya, baha, bagyo, at kung ano-ano pa, ay naitawid natin ang taon ng buong ningning na tumindi ang pagsiservisyo, pagtutulungan, at pagmamalasakit sa isa't isa. Sa pananalita nating mga kabataan, Rotaractors ng District 3800 lang ang malakas. Saka lang. Kaya nararapat lamang na dumating tayo sa okasyong ito, ang Gawad Parangal sa taong 2021. At sa tingin ko, sa dami ng inyong ginawa, ay marami rin ang gagawaran ng awards. Sa nakita ko, sa unang 11 buwan na tayo ay magkakasama, ay baka nga naubos ang pera ng distrito o ni DRR Ali sa dami ng plaking pinagawa. Hindi naman mapagkakaila. Magaling kayo talaga. Yan ang tatak 3800. Hindi ako biased ha. Sa mundo ng Rotaract, ito ay pinatunayan sa dami ng parangal na natanggap ng distrito sa katatapos na pre-con ng Pilipinas MDIO. O diba? Kung meron man akong isang importanteng mensahe na gustong iparating sa inyong lahat, ito na yon. Ang buhay ay hindi paligsahan. Kadalasan kasi, sa kagustuhang maging pinakamagaling, ay nakakalimutang maging mabuti. Let us instead continue to be happy for one another, to be kind to each other, to do and be our very best wherever we may be, whether in Rotaract, in school, at work, or in other pursuits. Let us not stress ourselves unnecessarily. Being too competitive is not good. Good vibes lang tayo dapat. Happy, happy. At kung meron mang nega o laging naghahadlang o di kaya ay nagbibitaw ng masakit na pananalita, iwasan na lang natin, huwag patulan, focus lang tayo sa magandang gawain. Tingnan na lang natin ang merito ng sinasabi nila kung meron man. At huwag na huwag mapipikon. That is the price of true leadership. Neither you nor I can satisfy everybody every time. But know that we are much, much better and much, much bigger than that. In the words of the famous motivational speaker, Mr. Francis Kong, he said, "Tides always change, adversities are temporary, trials do not last. What stays is a kind of people we become by how we handle the situation. We have been through a lot of crises before. Each one has shaped the way we think, the way we behave, and the kind of person we have become. Let us all become better after all this is over." At ito pa, yung mga awards na yan, bonus lang yan. Ang pinaka-importante para sa akin ay ginawa natin ang lahat ng ating makakaya. That would be enough. At syempre, dapat tayong matutong laging magpasalamat. At huwag lalaki ang ulo. Okay? So congrats sa lahat na magagawaran ngayong gabi. Congrats sa Rotaract ng District 3800. At tandaan ninyo, mahal na mahal na mahal ko kayong lahat. Maraming salamat at magandang gabi.
ito ay nagsama-sama upang magsagawa ng mga proyektong kahit na tayo man ay hinagupit ng bagyo at nakaranas ng mga malawakang pagbaha at ang patuloy natin na paglaban sa COVID-19. Congratulations, Rescue PH, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela West. Rotaract Club of Metro Novaliches, Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Novaliches, Caloocan. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of CUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Rotaract Club of Angono, sponsored by Rotary Club of Angono. Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands. Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong North. Rotaract Club of Barangay Palatio Scholars, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Rotaract Club of Tomas Claudio Colleges, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Rotaract Club of Greater Mandaluyong, sponsored by Rotary Club of Greater Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela City Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Navotas Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of East System College of Rizal, sponsored by Rotary Club of Teresa. Rotaract Club of Malabon Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Central. Rotaract Club of Malabon East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon East. Rotaract Club of Navotas, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Rotaract Club of Taytay, sponsored by Rotary Club of Taytay. Bayanihan para sa kababayan. Bayanihan para sa Marikina. Rotaract Club of Marikina, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina. Rotaract Club of Marikina Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Central. Rotaract Club of Marikina East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina East. Rotaract Club of Marikina Hilltop, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Hilltop. Rotaract Club of Marikina Heights, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Heights. Rotaract Club of Marikina North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina North. Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. Rotaract Club of Marikina West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina West. Rotaract Club of Rodriguez, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rodriguez. Rotaract Club of Tumana Youth Center, sponsored by Rotary Club of Petro Marikina. Hashtag Ahon Marikina. Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. Ramayan. Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. Bayanihan para sa Daraitan. Rotaract Club of Tomas Claudio Colleges, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Typhoon Ulysses Donation Drive. Rotaract Club of Lakeshore Rizal, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Bangon Maris. Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Operation Tugon, Bangon, Ahon. Rotaract Club of URS Taytay, sponsored by Rotary Club of Taytay. Oplan Salva, Oragon, Rotaract Club of Taytay, sponsored by Rotary Club of Taytay. Rotaract Club of Angono, sponsored by Rotary Club of Angono. Rise as One, San Juan, Rotaract Club of PSPA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Rotaract Club of Green Hills, sponsored by Rotary Club of Green Hills. Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan, College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Rotaract Club of San Juan Del Monte Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Del Monte. Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. Ano man ang ating pagdaanan, ang mga Rotaract Club hanggang Mayo, at masusundan pa sa mga susunod na mga buwan, ang ating distrito ay nagkaroon ng mga bagong parte at kabahagi ng ating pamilya para sa Rotaract District 3800. Ito ay kahit na tayo man ay hinagupit ng bagyo at nakaranas ng mga malawakang pagbaha at ang patuloy natin na paglaban sa COVID-19. Congratulations, Rescue PE, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West, sponsored by Rotary Community Pantry, Dampalit Community Pantry. Magbigay ayon sa kakayahan, kumuha batay sa pangangailangan. Rotaract Club of Malabon Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Central. Rotaract Club of Malabon East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon East. Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands. Mobile Community Pantry, Hygiene Necessities Edition. Rotaract Club of Barangay Palateo Scholars, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Rotaract Club of De La Paz Marcos High, sponsored by Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High. Rotaract Club of Marikina Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Central. Rotaract Club of Pasig Hope, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig East. Rotaract Club of Pasig Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig Premier. Mula sa masa, para sa masa. Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Mobile Community Pantry. Rotaract Club of Marikina West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina West. Scholar Community Pantry. Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan, College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Christie's Pantry, Rotaract Club of Barangka, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong, Pasig, San Juan, Manpasan. Samson Road Community Pantry, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela West. Maraming salamat mga Rotaract Clubs at Rotaractors. Inyong pinakita ang inyong pagiging tunay na bayani.
Pangarap ko lang ito noon. Panaginip na minsan naisip ko na sana magkatotoo. Sino ba naman mag-aakala na ang dating interactor na nakikinig lang sa isang sulok ng mga plenary hall ay magiging isang district Rotaract representative ngayon? Hindi naman masamang mangarap, ngunit dapat gagawa ka ng paraan para lahat ng yun may isang katuparan. Nagdasal, nagtiwala, at naniwala na kaya kong maging isang magandang halimbawa at makapagbigay ng maraming inspirasyon. Kung ano man ako ngayon, dahil yon sa lahat ng mga nagbigay sa akin ng inspirasyon. Tiwala na hindi isinawalang bahala. Lahat ng bilin at pangaral ng aking mga Rotarians ay nanatiling bitbit ko simula sa araw na nag-umpisa ako hanggang sa mga oras na to. Sabi ko nga noon, relax lang, watch and learn. Ako na ang bahala. Ang minsang inasama at pinangarap, naging isang magandang karanasan sa akin bilang isang leader ng kabataan. Naghintay ng tamang panahon para sa tamang pagkakataon.
Ika-334 na araw ko ngayon bilang District Rotaract Representative ng ating Distrito 3800 na tumatak at naging isang tunay na kasaysayan ang ating taon ng Rotary Opens Opportunities. Isang malaking dagok at pagsubok ang ating kinaharap para sa ating taon ng ating maranasan ang pandemyang COVID-19. Maraming nagbago at pinagbago para ating masimulan ang tinatawag na new normal sa panahon ngayon. Sinimulan natin ang ating mga proyekto sa pamamagitan ng pagkakaisa at pagtutulungan ng bawat Rotaract clubs at Rotaractors sa ating distrito. Hindi naging hadlang ang pandemyang ating kinaharap dahil naging matagumpay ang lahat ng ating mga proyekto. Mas naging produktibo, agresibo at talagang masasabi nating hindi alintana na may pandemya pala dahil mas naging aktibo ang ating mga Rotaractors kahit na tayo ang unang nakaranas ng mga virtual events gamit ang mga platapormang Zoom at Google Meet na tayo'y pinagkaisa at pinagsama-sama sa harap ng computer. Ang mga nakasanayan noon ay mas ginawa nating kakaiba. Ang mga fellowships noon ay ngayon ginawa nating mas bongga. Ang mga service projects noon ay ngayon ginawa nating mas tatak para sa mga panibagong tatak Rotaract. Kaya naman sa inyong lahat, aking pinapaabot ang isang virtual hugs at fist bump, isang tapik sa inyong mga balikat at saludo para sa inyong lahat. Maraming beses akong nakapagsalita ng salitang ayoko na. Pero dahil ito ay isang malaking pagtitiwala ng buong distrito, aking ginampanan ang tungkuling aking inasam. Sino nga ba ang mag-aakala na ang kagaya ko ay magiging isang District Rotaract Representative na ang tanging gusto ko lang noon ay maging isang simpleng leader na nakikinig sa plenary hall. Ang pangarap na unti-unting binuo dahil na rin sa pagkakaroon ng tiwala sa sarili na kaya ko. Mga pangaral na bitbit ko hanggang ngayon mula sa aking mga Rotarians. Mga panaginip na unti-unting nagkatotoo, parang teleserye na kung saan bumida ang simpleng pangarap para sa lahat ng mga nangangarap. Nais ko na agad pasalamatan ang ating mga transforming district officers na mula sa simula hanggang sa dulo ay ating kasama para tuparin ang mga sinumpaang tungkulin natin bilang mga leader ng mga Rotaractors sa ating distrito. Maraming salamat dahil pinakita ninyo na first-timers man Ngunit tayong mga first-timer ang nakagawa na masasabi nating panibagong kasaysayan sa mundo ng Rotaract at panibagong tatak Rotaract. Naging mahirap man sa atin ang sitwasyon ngayon dahil ang mga nakasanayan ay hindi natin nagawa sa taon na ito. Nalimitahan ang ating mga naiisip na proyekto, ngunit dahil sa pagiging matalino, malikhain at pagkakaroon ng pusong Rotaryo, ang mga imposible ay nagawa nating posible sa tulong ng teknolohiya, pagtutulungan, pagmamalasakit, pagkakaisa at pagmamahalan na parang isang pamilya. Sabi nila, mga first-timers yan, anong alam nila? Sabi ko naman, oo, first time namin, ngunit hindi yun naging isang dahilan para sumuko ang mga bagitong kagaya namin. Dahil sa salitang yun, pinatunayan natin na ang mga first-timers ay nakagawa ng mga makasaysayang tatak Rotaract para sa taon ng Rotary Opens Opportunities. Para naman sa aking mga 71 transforming presidents mula Caloocan, Malabon, Navotas, Valenzuela, Marikina, Rizal, Pasig, San Juan at Mandaluyong. Maraming salamat dahil hindi kayo nagpatalo sa kahit anong hirap ng sitwasyon at pinakita ninyong kayo ang tunay na sumasalamin at mukha ng transforming year. Nagsimula tayong tuparin ang bawat ating tinala sa ating Rotary International Strategic Priorities, increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, increase our ability to adapt. Binigyang kulay natin ang bawat proyekto at aktibidad na nasa calendar of activities ng ating distrito. At sabay-sabay umariba ang lahat ng ating transforming presidents, akay-akay ang kanilang mga Rotaract clubs para naman isa-isang tapusin at tantosan ang nakatala sa ating DRR's challenge. Nakakatawa ng puso na sa bawat buwan, mayroon tayong natatapos at mga magagandang balita na tampok ang istorya ng bawat kwento ng ating Rotaract clubs. Totoo ang salitang aking nabitawan noon. Kalma lang, magtiwala kayo, ako na ang bahala. Dahil sa salitang iyon, bawat araw ating pinag-iisipang mabuti ang mga proyektong ating ibibigay at gagawin para maging isang makabuluhan ang bawat mga proyektong ating ihahandog sa ating distrito. Kasagsagan ng karera ko bilang District Rotaract Representative nang subukin ako ng isang napakabigat na hamon ng buhay ang mawalan ng isang ina ilang araw bago ang Kapaskuhan. Ngunit dahil sa inyo at sa lahat ng mga taong patuloy na naniniwala, nagtiwala at labis-labis ang pagmamahal, muli akong bumangon. At nag-iwan ang salitang, laban, fighting, para ipagpatuloy ang laban na ating sinimulan at naumpisahan. Sa aking nanay, alam kong ikaw ngayon ang unang-unang pumapalakpak, hindi para sa akin, kundi para sa lahat o para sa bawat proyektong napagtagumpayan ng lahat ng mga Rotaract clubs sa ating distrito. Ang bawat naisagawa, natupad at nagawang mga proyekto ay dahil yon sa inyong lahat. Sa inyong suporta at pagmamahal sa ating distrito ay talaga nga namang sabay-sabay umariba ang mga Rotaract clubs para sa nagkakaisa at masayang distrito. Matatapos man ang taon ng transforming year, ngunit ang pagiging pusong Rotaryo at leader ng mga Rotaractors ay magtutuloy-tuloy. Laging tatandaan, ang Rotaract Club ay hindi isang kompetisyon. Ito ay isang organisasyon na bubuo sa bawat piraso ng ibig sabihin ng pamilya, liderato, paninindigan, responsibilidad, prinsipyo at kaibigan. Sa bandang huli, magsasama-sama ang lahat para sa nag-iisang adhikain, ang fellowship through service. Hindi ko magagawa ang mga bagay na to kung hindi dahil sa inyo, bukod sa aking mga transforming district officers, transforming presidents at mga Rotaractors sa ating distrito. Nais ko at taas noo kong pinapakilala sa inyo ang mga tao sa likod ng ating bawat tagumpay, ang mga taong nakasuporta at nakaalalay sa anumang mga desisyong ating gagawin at isakatutuparan. Pero bago ang lahat, nais kong bigyang parangal ang mga taong tumanggap upang maging kaisa sa pagpili ng mga karapat-dapat mabigyang parangal sa ating distrito. Dahil sa kanila, naging mas madali ang pagpili ng mga Rotaract clubs na nagpakita ng mga galing sa paggawa ng mga proyekto. Maraming salamat, Past District Rotaract Representative ng District 3860, Alistair Ray L. Tecaro Jr. Past District Rotaract Representative ng District 3810, Vincent Carlo N. Roman. At ang ating kaibigan mula sa simula hanggang sa mga oras na ito ay todo-todo ang suporta para sa ating distrito. Ang taong one call away na nagbibigay rin ng mga tulong at ideya para mas maging maayos at madagdagan pa ang aming kaalaman. Bukod pa dyan, isa rin siya sa aming tanungan ng aking District Rotaract Chairman upang aming mas maintindihan ang mga bagay na may kinalaman sa Rotaract. Maraming salamat, Past District Rotaract Representative ng District 3790, Omar N. Di Maruco. Binibigyan rin ng ating distrito ng parangal ang ating Pilipinas Rotaract MDAO Chairman, Louis Boy de Real, sa lahat ng kanyang pagsuporta sa bawat proyekto ng Rotaract District 3800. Maraming salamat sa pakikinig, lalong-lalo na sa mga bagay na hinahanapan ko agad ng mga kasagutan para mas lubos na maintindihan at maipaliwanag ko ang lahat ng dapat malaman pa ng aming distrito. Sa aming Youth Service Committee Secretary, Past President Sheila Yun de Borja at Youth Service Chairman Herman King, maraming salamat sa inyong pagmamahal, hindi lang para sa akin, kundi para sa mga interactors at mga Rotaractors. Nais ko rin ipakilala sa inyo at bigyang parangal ang mga Rotarians na nakasama natin sa paglalakbay ng ating transforming year. Maraming salamat, Past President Joel Relieve, Past President Anthony T.C., Past President Weng Tejada, Past President Goderico Miranda, Cluster Chairmans, Past President Jed Concepcion, Past President Zifred Ancheta, Past President Jose Marie B. Nankil, ang ating mga Zone Chairman, Past President Josephine Tino, Past President Cristina Andres, Past President Jonathan Domingo, Past President Dina Guevara, Past President Jing Reyes, Past President Emmanuel Aldabang. Hindi makukumpleto ang lahat kung hindi dahil sa kanya. Mula nang ako'y maging interactor hanggang sa mga oras nito, hanggang sa maging ako'y isang ganap na Rotaractor. Kasama na nila ako na nagbibigay inspirasyon sa ating mga future leaders. Tandang-tanda ko pa rin ang sinabi mo na huwag lalaki ang ulo pag naging DRR ka na. Galingan mo. Huwag mo kaming ipapahiya. Maraming salamat, District Rotaract Chairman Boji Bernardino. Ang pangarap natin noon sa Rotaract ay isang simpleng mga district events lang. Pero ang mga nangyari ngayon ay sobra-sobra pa sa mga pinangarap natin noon. Maraming salamat, DRC, kahit sa bawat patak ng luha ko noon. Tanging ang narinig ko lang sa'yo noon, pag nagpakita ka ng kahinaan, pagtatawanan ka nila, ikaw rin ang talo. Gusto mo ba yun? Binibigyan na rin natin ng pagkilala sina Spouse Lana Parungaw at Transforming District Governor Tony P. Parungaw. Maraming salamat po sa inyong labis at sobrang suporta at pagmamahal para sa Rotaract District 3800. Ang lahat ng ito ay naging isang makasaysayan at masasabi kong panibagong tatak Rotaract ang iniwan ninyong suporta para sa ating mga Rotaractors na handang-handa na para sa #ElevateRotaract, sa aking Rotaract Club of Marikina West, sa aking Rotary Sponsoring Club, Rotary Club of Marikina West, at sa aking Rotary Club of Marikina North. Maraming salamat sa inyong lagpas height kong inyong suporta. Binusog niyo ako ng suporta at pagmamahal, kaya ni minsan hindi ko naramdaman na mag-isa lang ako para buuin ang bawat panaginip at pangarap ko para sa masayang Rotaract District 3800. Para sa lahat ng mga Rotaractors, magsilbi tayong mga magandang ehemplo at halimbawa sa lahat ng mga future leaders ng ating distrito. Lagi ninyong tatandaan na sa bawat aksyon at mga salitang inyong binibitawan, laging nakakabit sa inyo na kayo'y isang mga Rotaractors. At ang mga Rotaractors ay samahan ng mga kabataan na may mabuting pag-uugali, mga professional, at nagbibigay inspirasyon para sa mamamayan. Tulungan natin ang bawat isa sa pagbibigay ng suporta. Marami akong dapat ika-proud dahil ito ang masasabi nating a year of so many firsts. Dahil sa inyong lahat, nagawa natin ang mga akala natin ay imposible. Magtatapos man ang taon ng Rotary Opens Opportunities, taas noon nating sasalubungin ang pagpasok ng panibagong Rotary Year. Sa lahat ng mga taong nagmamahal at patuloy na naniniwala sa transforming team, marami pong salamat sa inyong lahat. Ang gabi na ito ay para sa lahat ng mga tagumpay ng ating mga Rotaractors sa ating distrito. Virtual hugs, fist bump at saludo sa inyong lahat. Buong puso po ako nagpapasalamat sa lahat ng ating mga Rotaractors, Rotaract Clubs, at mga Rotary Sponsoring Clubs mula Caloocan, Malabon, Navotas, Valenzuela, Marikina, Rizal, Pasig, San Juan at Mandaluyong sa inyong pagmamahal at labis-labis na pagsuporta upang ipagsigawan at ibandera ang mga tatak Rotaract. Muli, ako po ang inyong District Rotaract Representative Ali E. Francisco na patuloy na magbibigay ng inspirasyon, saludo, pagpupugay at mananatiling leader para sa ating henerasyon. Ang lahat ng mga Rotaract Clubs ng District 3800 ay sabay-sabay aariba para sa distritong masaya. Ika-334 na araw ko ngayon bilang District Rotaract Representative ng ating Distrito 3800 na tumatak at naging isang tunay na kasaysayan ang ating taon ng Rotary Opens Opportunities. Isang malaking dagok at pagsubok ang ating nilakbay ang taon ng Rotary Year 2020-2021 upang makamit ang ating mga district goals at Year Arts Challenge ng kapit kamay at walang bibitaw. Tanso Awardee, mga nagkamit na hindi bababa sa bagong bilang ng mga layunin sa kategorya ng mahalaga. Mayroong 47 na nakamit sa kategorya ng pangalawang mahalaga. Rotaract Club of Metro Antipolo, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Antipolo. Rotaract Club of International Christian College of Manila, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig North. Rotaract Club of E-Club of San Juan, sponsored by Rotary Club of E-Club of San Juan. PILAC Awardees, mga nagkamit ang hindi bababa sa 8 bilang ng mga layunin sa kategorya ng mahalaga at mayroong 8 to 14 na nakamit sa kategorya ng pangalawang mahalaga. Rotaract Club of North Bay East, sponsored by Rotary Club of North Bay East. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela City Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Marikina Hilltop, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Hilltop. Rotaract Club of Marikina Heights, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Heights. Rotaract Club of Marikina, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina. Rotaract Club of Marikina Young Leaders, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina. Rotaract Club of Passport 1 Marikina, sponsored by Rotary Club of Passport 1 Marikina. Rotaract Club of Greater Marikina Valley, San Mateo Municipal College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Greater Marikina Valley. Rotaract Club of Taytay, sponsored by Rotary Club of Taytay. Rotaract Club of East System College of Rizal, sponsored by Rotary Club of Teresa. Rotaract Club of Metro East Taytay, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro East Taytay. Rotaract Club of URS Binangonan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Binangonan. Rotaract Club of URS Cainta, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cainta. Rotaract Club of URS Taytay, sponsored by Rotary Club of Taytay. Rotaract Club of Morong, SIC, sponsored by Rotary Club of Morong. Rotaract Club of Pasig Sunrise, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig Sunrise. Rotaract Club of Green Hills, sponsored by Rotary Club of Green Hills. Rotaract Club of Highway Hills Integrated School, sponsored by Rotary Club of Wakwak. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong North. Rotaract Club of New Zaniga, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Central. Rotaract Club of Barangka, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong, Pasig and San Juan, Manpasan. Rotaract Club of San Juan del Monte Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte. Ginto Awardee, mga nagkamit na hindi bababa sa 8 bilang ng mga layunin sa kategorya ng mahalaga. At mayroong 15 to 19 na nakamit sa kategorya ng pangalawang mahalaga. Rotaract Club of Navotas, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Rotaract Club of Malabon Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Central. Rotaract Club of Malabon, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon. Rotaract Club of Malabon East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon East. Rotaract Club of Navotas Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands. Rotaract Club of Metro Novaliches Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Novaliches Caloocan. Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Rotaract Club of University of Caloocan City, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Millennial Sampaguita Grace Park, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of University of the East Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park. Rotaract Club of Grace Park, sponsored by Rotary Club of Grace Park. Rotaract Club of New Rise Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rise Caloocan North. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Valenzuela West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela West. Rotaract Club of Metro Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Rotaract Club of Marikina Central, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Central. Rotaract Club of Rodriguez, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rodriguez. Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. Rotaract Club of Marikina West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina West. Rotaract Club of Tumana Youth Sector, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Marikina. Rotaract Club of Marikina East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina East. Rotaract Club of Marikina North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina North. Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Rotaract Club of Angono, sponsored by Rotary Club of Angono. Rotaract Club of Tomas Claudio Colleges, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Rotaract Club of Lakeshore Rizal, sponsored by Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal. Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. Rotaract Club of Rizal Mid-East, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Mid-East. Rotaract Club of Barangay Palatio Scholars, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Rotaract Club of De La Paz Marcos High, sponsored by Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High. Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig. Rotaract Club of Pasig Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig Premier. Rotaract Club of Pasig Hope, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig East. Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong West, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West. Rotaract Club of Wakwak, sponsored by Rotary Club of Wakwak. Rotaract Club of Rizal Technological University, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Greater Mandaluyong, sponsored by Rotary Club of Greater Mandaluyong. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Premier. Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Congratulations sa ating mga Rotaract Clubs na naging Year Our Citation Awardees. Isang proyekto ay hindi namin magagawang matagumpay kung hindi dahil sa inyo. Palagian nating nabibigyang parangal at pagkilala ang mga Rotaract Clubs na nagpupursige at nagbibigay ng kanilang dedikasyon. Kaya naman aming binibigyang pagkilala ang lahat ng ating mga matyaga, masisipag, mapagmahal at nagsilbing mga ate, kuya, tito, tita, nanay at tatay sa ating mga Rotaractors. Mula sa Zone 1, Rotary Club of Navotas, Rotary Club of Malabon Central, Rotary Club of Malabon, Rotary Club of Malabon East, Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands, Rotary Club of North Bay East. Mula sa Zone 2, Rotary Club of Metro Novaliches, Caloocan, Rotary Club of Caloocan, Rotary Club of Sampaguita Grace Park, Rotary Club of Grace Park, Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Mula sa Zone 3, Rotary Club of Valenzuela, Rotary Club of Valenzuela West, Rotary Club of Metro Valenzuela. Mula sa Zone 4, Rotary Club of Marikina Central, Rotary Club of Rodriguez, Rotary Club of Marikina Valley, Rotary Club of Marikina West, Rotary Club of Metro Marikina, Rotary Club of Marikina East, Rotary Club of Marikina Hilltop, Rotary Club of Marikina Heights, Rotary Club of Marikina, Rotary Club of Marikina North, Rotary Club of Passport 1 Marikina, Rotary Club of Greater Marikina Valley, Rotary Club of San Mateo Central. Mula naman sa Zone 5, Rotary Club of Rizal Centro, Rotary Club of Angono, Rotary Club of Lakeshore Rizal, Rotary Club of Taytay, Rotary Club of Teresa, Rotary Club of Cardona, Rotary Club of Metro East Taytay, Rotary Club of Binangonan, Rotary Club of Cainta, Rotary Club of Metro Antipolo, Rotary Club of Rizal Mid-East, Rotary Club of Morong. Mula naman sa Zone 6, Rotary Club of Metro Pasig, Rotary Club of Pasig Sunrise, Rotary Club of De La Paz Marcos High, Rotary Club of Pasig, Rotary Club of Pasig Premier, Rotary Club of Pasig North, Rotary Club of Pasig East. Mula naman sa Zone 7, Rotary Club of San Juan, Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte, Rotary Club of San Juan East, Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan, Rotary Club of Green Hills, Rotary Club of E-Club San Juan. Mula naman sa Zone 8, Rotary Club of Mandaluyong West, Rotary Club of Wakwak, Rotary Club of Mandaluyong, Rotary Club of Greater Mandaluyong, Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Premier, Rotary Club of Mandaluyong North, Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Central, Rotary Club of Manpasan, Rotary Club of Mandaluyong Uptown. Ang lahat ng aming mga proyekto ay hindi namin magagawang matagumpay kung hindi dahil sa inyo. Palagian nating nabibigyang parangal at pagkilala ang mga Rotaract clubs na nagpupursige at nagbibigay ng kanilang dedikasyon. Kaya naman aming binibigyang pagkilala ang lahat ng ating mga matyaga, masisipag, mapagmahal at nagsilbing mga ate, kuya, tito, tita, nanay at tatay sa ating mga Rotaractors. Mula sa nagkamit at nagpakita ng husay at galing sa pagpapahalaga at pagbibigay ng makabuluhang proyekto para sa ating 7 areas of focus. Basic Education and Literacy, Sulong Edukasyon, Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. Early Milestone Project from Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Once Upon a Time, Book 1, The Adventure of Learning Modules, Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Adopt a Daycare, We Care, They Care, Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Sagot Kita, an online tutorial project from Rotaract Club of Mandaluyong, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. Maternal and Child Health, Pagsalubong sa Paglabas, Year 3, Rotaract Club of Valenzuela, sponsored by Rotary Club of Valenzuela. Adopt a Daycare Project, We Care, They Care, Rotaract Club of Rizal Centro, sponsored by Rotary Club of Rizal Centro. Hashtag Ramayan Project, Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. Buntis Congress, Rotaract Club of Barangay Palatio Scholars, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Teen Talk, an awareness to teenage pregnancy webinar. Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. Peace and Conflict Prevention Resolution. Violence Against Women and Their Children Seminar. Rotaract Club of Barangay Palatio Scholars, sponsored by Rotary Club of Metro Pasig. Rise as One, San Juan, Rotaract Club of San Juan East, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan East. Biyaya sa Sariaya Project, Solar Flashlight, Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan, College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Start Up Peace, Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Love in the Modern World, the search for your Mrs. or Mr. Right Valentine's Day Matchmaking Event, Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig. Disease Prevention and Treatment, Project Alalay, Rotaract Club of Pamantasan ng Lungsod ng Pasig, sponsored by Rotary Club of Pasig. Proyekto ni Teki 2.0, Effects of Social Media on Mental Health, Rotaract Club of Rizal Technological University, sponsored by Rotary Club of Mandaluyong. HIV and AIDS Webinar, Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Oasis Project, Rotaract Club of San Juan del Monte Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte. Blood Giving Saves Lives by Donating Lives, Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Water Sanitation and Hygiene, Project Wash, a drop of water goes a long way. Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. SAF Distribution, Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Brigada Bayanihan Heroes, Rotaract Club of New Rice, Caloocan North, sponsored by Rotary Club of New Rice, Caloocan North. Project Pro Ligtas, Rotaract Club of Marikina Valley, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina Valley. Malinis na tubig para iwas COVID, Rotaract Club of Navotas Polytechnic College, sponsored by Rotary Club of Navotas. Community and Economic Development. Donation Drive, Typhoon Ulysses, Rotaract Club of San Juan del Monte Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte. Rise as One San Juan, Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan, College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Growing Local Economies, Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Dugtong Kabuhayan Project, Rotaract Club of Malabon Highlands, sponsored by Rotary Club of Malabon Highlands. Growing Local Economy, Rotaract Club of Cardona, sponsored by Rotary Club of Cardona. Supporting the Environment, Solar Project, Rotaract Club of San Juan del Monte Premier, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan del Monte. Self-revival of the environment, protect and preserve the source of human health, Rotaract Club of PSBA Volunteers, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan. Nurture the environment, nurture the mental health, Rotaract Club of PUP San Juan, College of Education, sponsored by Rotary Club of San Juan Neapolitan. Green Setter presents Green Camp and Zero Waste Management Campaign, Rotaract Club of Caloocan, sponsored by Rotary Club of Caloocan. Artificial Coral Reef, Engineering Innovative Recovery, Rotaract Club of Marikina North, sponsored by Rotary Club of Marikina North. Congratulations, Rotaractors! Ating kilalanin ang mga Rotaract Clubs na nagkamit at nagpakita ng husay at galing sa pagpapahalaga at pagbibigay ng makabuluhang proyekto para sa ating 7 areas of focus. Basic Education and Literacy. Sulong
salamat po sa pagsuporta sa distritong masaya ng Rotaract District 3800 simula't una hanggang sa pagtatapos ng transforming year. Ngayong taon, makikita sa bawat Rotaractor ang ating motto, Fellowship Through Service, na ipinamalas upang makatulong sa ating komunidad at bawat isa ngayong panahon ng pandemya. Sa lahat ng Rotarians ng ating distritong 3800 na walang sawang patnubay at gumabay sa kanilang Rotaractors para magtagumpay ang bawat isa sa kanilang mga hamon bilang Rotaractors sa kanilang Rotaract Clubs. Para sa mga Rotaractors na walang kapaguran na ibinigay ang lahat ng kanilang kasipagan sa bawat proyektong kanilang ginawa bilang isang Rotaract Club, kami ay taas noong saludo sa inyo dahil kayo ang naging isang inspirasyon naming lahat. Hindi matatago ang aming taus-pusong pasasalamat ngayong Transforming Rotary International District 3800 sa ating Governor Tony P. Parangal, District Rotaract Chair Boji Bernardino, Youth Service Chair Herman King, Transforming District Rotaract Representative Aleli Ali E. Francisco at ang Transforming District Officers na sama-sama nagtulong-tulong upang umariba ang ating distritong masaya. At sabay-sabay na hinarap ang hamon ng pandemya na walang naiwan at pinahalagahan ang bawat Rotarians at Rotaractors. Ako, Ikaw, kayo, at tayo ay aariba sa distritong masaya ngayong taon. Muli, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat.
As a District Rotaract representative from District 3800, this 2021 Gawad Parangal is officially adjourned.
Babanang kiwalam, babanang kiwalam.